I wanted to do a little icebreaker with you. We're talking
Hmm.
about Charlie Puth, who's one of the premier white male pop stars, and
Yeah.
like um we I made a little tier list here that I think we it'd be fun for all of us to fill out. So this is the white male pop star tier list. like so we got the tiers here. We got person of POC, person of cream. We got
Yep.
A
Oh
tier is
my God.
A tier is alabaster, B tier is beige, C tier is cracker, and then D tier is cracker derogatory. So
We won't be able to air this on Twitch.
yes.
That'll get you a ban.
Oh no. So okay, let's start with somber. Where would you guys put somber?
Somber?
Do you have any somber opinions at all?
Yeah, I do actually, but I'm sort of new to Somber.
Okay.
I
I think
only
we're all
just got
new to
in.
Somber. Somber's only been a he's only been a like Somber's barely like been in the public zeitgeist like longer than Clavicular, right?
Okay,
I should have put him in there, like clavicular.
Yeah,
Somber
Somber's
Somber has two albums.
Okay.
he has
And
two
I
albums?
he has two albums and I only have gotten into Somber on the two most recent new singles, so like stuff that is beyond those two albums. That's like where I'm coming in this from. So I'm really new. I've not listened to any of the full albums. I couldn't tell you any songs from before these most recent singles, but I really like these two singles.
Okay.
Homewrecker is a fucking bop.
I love Home Record. That
It's
should
so
be a
good.
Harry Styles song, but it's not. Because he
Look,
wouldn't.
we recorded our Harry Styles episode like a week ago, and a general sentiment was Harry Styles let us down.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. And like I think he's too afraid to do a song like Homewrecker, even though it would be perfect for him.
I mean, that with Olivia Wilde, come on.
Yeah, he literally ruined her life. Like, at least like have some fun with it in your
Yeah,
album.
that's the least that he could do to pay back Olivia Wilde is like at least have her be the focus of a bop.
So
Hmm.
where are we putting somber? like A S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier.
I'm putting him in B tier,
Okay.
I want to say. Is
All
that
right.
I'm
crazy? I
putting
think there's potential.
Yeah, I want to put like I would put him I think like top of
Top of B tier.
this tier, if not the bottom of Alabaster. Like
Okay.
I think I think he's got the goods. He's got the juice. He's done like a couple like bullshit like rock star antics, but like nothing like nothing like cancelable, I think. He did have a weird thing where he was asking his like primarily underage girl audience to like bark like dogs, and that
Forgot
stoked
about
some
that.
very exhausting discourse on the internet. But on the whole, he seems okay. I'm going, yeah, top of beige or bottom of
Okay.
alabaster.
Then we got where's Harry Styles? Oh yeah, Harry Styles. Okay, where do you put him? Uh C
Ugh.
C like
C, I guess, is sort of the most generous I can be.
yeah, yeah. Okay, Alex Warren.
Oh,
The
D,
worst.
the
Okay, okay,
worst.
okay.
I have no problem with giving anybody the C pass to call him that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can say it. So Justin Bieber. like where I think he's
Oh,
A or S.
I think he's S tier, 100%. No
Whoa, whoa,
one's,
whoa, 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 whoa! But his soul is black.
well, right.
That's why he's POC, like person of
Yeah,
cream. Uh like yeah, I think just
it's canon.
yeah, the Bieber cello was great. I actually liked that was that whole discourse of just like the male pop star versus the female pop star, like the Sabrina Carpenter versus the Bieber cello thing. But I felt like it was appropriate for his, to be minimalist and to be like he's such a force that and like he has so many incredible songs. So okay,
If he had done something like what he used to do when he was like a teen pop star that was really like dancey, I would have been like scared for him.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
I
it's
think it's
definitely not
good
like
that
his
he did what
headspace.
he did. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like Is This Clocking to You? That's fantastic. I like that. Okay, Shawn Mendes.
Uh, I feel like I want to call him a cracker.
So, here, above Alex? Or
I think
I
above
don't.
Alex. I don't think he's up there with Harry though.
okay.
Yeah,
I think he's pretty
yeah.
low.
Like I think it's safe to say that Alex Warren's going to be like the bottom of this. Maybe I don't know. Looking at some of the names coming up, but
Yeah.
I don't think of Shawn Mendes at all.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Do you
Don
guys
Draper.
like when's the last time you're
okay,
like
Don
I got to put
Draper.
on that Shawn Mendes joint?
He was on The Big Day. That was a lot of fun. Like, um.
Oh.
Okay. So
My
Jelly
roommate
Roll.
had a crush on him, so I only know him in that context. Jelly Roll is
Yeah, but
S.
he's
Or not
good
S, I'm
looking,
sorry.
but-
I always think S is bad. D.
All right.
I think of S as being shit, you know.
Above or
This is
below Alex. He's doing the MAGA thing.
Who is
this
that?
guy- Jelly Roll.
Wait. From this vantage point, like this far zoomed out, he looks like he's wearing one of the old Star Trek uniforms.
Yeah.
It's true.
Um, Jelly Roll also sucks. He's definitely a cracker. I think he's above Alex Warren though.
Wow.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting. I would put him below Alex Warren.
Alex Warren has like plausible deniability for the MAGA stuff. I guess like Jelly Roll does too, but we'll see. Okay.
Be that as it may, like just from somebody who like would only absorb anything that these guys do from like general cultural osmosis, Ordinary is such a worse song than what I've heard from Jelly Roll. And that's not to say that I like Jelly Roll's material, because I don't. That's just like the scathing indictment of how bad I find Ordinary to be.
Yeah. It's really bad.
Post Malone. He has some good songs.
I'm not mad at Post. I would put him
Below him?
A.
Oh,
No,
A.
I think above. I think
Wow.
above Somber or A.
Whoa, that's a high ranking.
Yeah. Sheeran.
He has a beautiful voice.
He does have a good voice. And you know what? I did really like Sunflower.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wait, Ed Sheeran. Beige.
Beige.
I
above
wanna call him a
above
cracker.
Harry Styles?
I don't know.
I think I want to
He
put him
just-
below.
He's so nothing to me.
I would switch these honestly. I would switch Harry and I would
Okay.
put I would do this and then put him.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's fine.
Adam Levine. Sorry.
What the hell? I love Maroon 5. You'll have to wrestle Maroon 5 away from me. He can go.
Above Post?
Yeah.
All right.
This is insane.
This is my affection for Maroon 5 got me into a lot of trouble with my MFA cohort, who were always like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" whenever I defend them. But you know what? I stand by it all.
I can get down with defending some of their songs. Like songs about Jane is like doesn't need any qualifiers attached to it. That's just like a good that is when I like construct in my mind palace a Borders bookstore from the 2000s. Songs About Jane has like a music display right at the front door when you're walking in. And they got some good singles throughout, but I think like Adam Levine is just like, I don't know. I feel like the voice knocked him down a couple pegs. Certainly like the sexting scandal. Like I don't
Your
really
body's
care about
insane.
it much I don't care about it
I
from like a
love the
morality
sexing.
point of view, but like,
I love
like certainly he lost some aura from that.
You heard it here first. Like Fran loves the sexting scandal. All right, so we got Jack Harlow. Like,
Well, that's my number one guy right now.
all right.
No, I'm kidding. I'm loving his Cinephile rebrand, but I did listen to that new album and really do not care for it.
He likes the Ice Storm. That's a cool choice. Like that's like
I love what he says about the ice storm. He goes normal, grounded, no lunatics. Like we should all hope to move through the world normal, grounded, no lunatics.
I feel
I
like
think above Sheeran is great.
okay. Yeah, I like First Class. I think it's a good song. That's a fun pop song.
His older stuff is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be like a legit like respectable rapper, and I don't know what he's been doing I don't know who he's getting advice from, but he needs to cut them off.
I know.
Yeah.
It makes me sad.
Benson Boone.
uh, I feel like the Benson Boone hate has gone too far.
Wow. He's putting
Benson?
he's doing like showiness, which like not a lot of male pop stars are doing.
No, he is a showman. The music is bad, but I do quite like him. I mean,
Hmm.
like Somber, Benson Boone, uh, there's a third one. These guys are all sort of filling the same space to me, which is just sort of like Harry Styles clones that popped up when Harry Styles was in his like 4-year exile from ruining Olivia Wilde's life. So they're all kind of like one piece of a whole guy to me.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I would put Benson Boone. I would put him at the top of Cracker, not the
Yeah,
derogatory.
I think
All right.
that's a great place for him to be.
Okay, this is Ryan Tedder. Harper's like insistence that we put Ryan Tedder in here. Anyone have any Ryan Tedder thoughts?
I've never heard of this person. I'm
I
sorry.
literally don't know who that is.
All right, let's put him in Cracker. All right, so like
Easy.
the decent one. All right, so like a good like a nice saltine. Like sometimes a nice saltine is like exactly what you need. All right,
Yeah.
so like we got Jason Mraz.
Put him in POC for
PLC.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Above or below Bieber?
Uh,
I'll put him below.
I mean, could we
I
just
think
put him above
below.
Bieber for the content? Can we put him above for the engagement farming?
Okay, Sam Smith. I think Sam Smith is
Uh,
overhated. Like the people like the hate train on Sam Smith is way too far, I think.
I like Sam Smith.
I like Sam Smith, but I feel like my opinion of Sam Smith has never settled. Like I like Sam Smith, then I feel like people are getting a little too over their skis with liking Sam Smith. And then, it comes back around where people are criticizing Sam Smith a little too much. So it's always in flux, but I mean the gradations of this flux are relatively small. Like we're talking like are people calling him a 4 or are they calling him a 7?
Ooh, predacious. That's a fun word.
I'm putting Sam Smith under Levine and above Post. I'm putting Sam Smith high. I think Sam Smith
Okay.
has incredible potential.
And then finally, Adam Devine, Bumper from Pitch Perfect 2. Where would you
Of
put it? Like,
course. This guy's always been a tough sell for me, I fear.
let's put him here. Like, and yeah, so that was our like white person pop star tier list. And we're gonna figure out where Charlie Puth lies on this list on this episode of I've been meaning to listen to that. Click.
Remember that record that you bought me like 2 years ago? Well, I just remembered that it's sitting in the closet. So I called you up just to tell you I've been meaning to listen to that. I've been meaning to listen to that. Why don't you come over and talk about it? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Why don't you come over and talk about it?
Welcome to the show. Welcome to I've been meaning to listen to that, the podcast where we go through albums we've been meaning to listen to and use it as a conduit to learn about each other and our guests. I'm Andrew Rambos Lee. He's Dakota Foss. And yeah, like we got a great guest here. Hold on, let me just pull this up real fast. Yeah, she has a new book coming out May 12th. I believe it'll be out by the time we release this.
Great.
Called The Field Guide to Nepo Babies. Please welcome Fran Hoepfner, everybody. Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah. So fill me in here. Like we emailed you. We asked you like, hey, would you like to come back on our show? We have like here's some options. We threw out Harry Styles. We threw out Ray. We threw out like Jade. And then you're like, the person I really want to talk about the most is Charlie Puth. So like,
Yeah.
so fill us
What
in
the hell's
this.
going on there? I actually still really want to talk about Jade. But we'll get to that at some point. I've been meaning to, it's like built into your show.
The
Well, I
name of the
really
show, yeah.
didn't want to talk about Harry because that new album is so nothing to me. It's absolutely zip, empty. But Charlie Puth has been a point of fascination for a while now, maybe like a decade. And
Whoa.
he had a new album out this spring that I think is okay, but anytime he does anything of any value, good or bad, I always come back to his 2018, right? Album Voice Notes. And I just think it is like one of the great pop albums of the 2010s. I
Whoa.
think it showed a lot of potential that he has maybe not totally lived up to. To me, I kind of hold it in a similar esteem to a beloved album called Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen, which I think is
Whoa.
a kind of
That's a huge.
standalone. I don't think they're of equal quality, but I think they represent kind of a peak of what an artist is capable of. And that peak
Okay.
is really, really, really high. But like a lot of what they've done since and surrounding that is not as high, if not sometimes extremely embarrassing. And I just think very few people I've introduced voice notes to have been like, I hate this album. They're like, there's kind of something here that is either undone by sort of his subsequent work or his whole vibe, which I also think is fascinating in context of this album.
Yeah. Like I
That's
I
Puth, and that's
yeah.
on Puth.
That's on
That's
Puth.
on Puth. Yeah, like where did you come to like become a fan of Charlie Puth in the first place?
Well, this album, my fascination was not fandom initially. I think I was just bombarded with his music by being like a gym goer in the 2010s.
God, that's so true. That's the realest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, you're at the gym, you're hearing Charlie Puth. And I felt like I was really dogged by his horrible song with Meghan Trainor, Marvin Gaye, which is completely
So bad.
disrespectful to the legacy of Marvin Gaye. But there was some kind of earworm quality to that song that just sort of made me kind of incapable of like quitting it in a sense, even though I knew it was bad. And then there was this like 1-2 punch of voice notes, which I listened to like the day it came out. I remember really kind of liking the singles. And I remember he was in the Charlie XCX Boys video. And I remember being like,
Oh yeah.
okay, is he like just
That's right.
cool enough to be kind of peripheral to this scene? Like that felt like a kind of validation of like maybe I've been like misreading what he's doing. And I don't think I was, but I just think voice notes is this really coherent in a good way, like complete pop album with really impressive production. And I think he sounds amazing on it. And I think he's not reached a level of coherence since, basically.
I like I was listening to this with my girlfriend like driving around and stuff, and she said like it sounds like, just standard male pop star stuff. But then like I listened to it again today, and from the perspective of he produced most of it himself. And if you look at the
Yeah.
personnel, there's like five other people, like just like five other people like doing engineering, maybe playing the guitar or something like that. But like from that vantage point, like this is pretty incredible. But my preconceived notions of him was I knew him from, See You Again, the Fast and Furious song, and then subsequently from Gilmore Guys, where they would play that song anytime they would do a tribute to like a dead character on Gilmore Girls, or just like the professor who was like had the affair with Paris, like he died in the show, and they played that for him. It was really funny.
I mean,
Um,
that song is so funny.
so-
But
Honestly,
I think
that
it's a pretty
song
good song.
that song played in the gym so much. Like that's how I
Yeah.
got my fitness Puth,
Wow. Wow. I mean, like, I guess like, so yeah, I knew that. And I just like didn't pay attention at all to him. Taylor Swift had that mention of him, and I was like, okay. And then like I saw him on Jimmy Fallon. I saw a clip of him on Jimmy Fallon, like kind of doing the, um, just like kind of like showing off his perfect pitch thing, and then showing off his like ability to like make songs off of anything, like Jimmy Fallon like just like sang us like a phrase of a song, and then he extracted like the snare and the kick of that song, and then he harmonized it. It was like really, really cool. And then I saw some TikToks of him like making a song from like a door hinge or something, and then making a song of like dead air, like literally just like white noise and just like kind of synthesizing it and stuff. So I thought that was cool. And then like I guess like that's the stuff I like. I like the pop professor, I like the pop scientist, I like the pop grad student persona that he does.
Yeah, I would probably say 90% of my exposure to Charlie Puth has been "See You Again." Honestly, like most
It's
of
been a long time.
most of the other stuff that I heard, like the Marvin Gaye song, just will forever live in infamy. And like I never checked him out really beyond that. And he always felt like a punchline. Like there would be so many people that I've come across where we'll be like talking music or something, and somehow the topic of Charlie Puth will come up, even though neither one of us are like super invested in his catalog. And like the sentiment always comes up where it's like, man, that guy has such insane talent, but he wastes it on what he's making. Honestly, like Fran, your pitch for voice notes is really like piquing my interest here. Because I mean, we'll obviously get into our thoughts on this album, but like this album is like turning me into Shaquille O'Neal. Like I was unfamiliar
Explain
with your
yourself.
game, Mr. Puth.
Mm,
Okay.
You know, I was like,
yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed this album.
Okay.
I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it.
I think there's
But
really
it's
something there.
yes, and it's also causing me to kind of deconstruct like you alluded to earlier, like his vibe.
Mhm.
What's the deal with this guy? He seems weird.
Yeah, let Fran, like what's your answer to that question? What's the deal with his vibe? What is his vibe, and then what's the deal with his vibe?
The vibe is kind of it's a two-hander. It's the sort of Professor Puth thing. Like he went to the Berklee School of Music, one of the best music schools in the country. Like to some extent, I feel like there is always some pop conversation of like, why don't we ever have like real musicians making pop music? And it's like, okay, we have a couple of them, and Charlie Puth is one of them. Someone who's exceedingly technically skilled at engineering and production and can really sing. I think those two things are generally like undeniable. And I think he's quite smart about how production works. He can kind of make anything sound like something, which is impressive. But then I also think he's got this kind of like sort of like bratty petulance to him, and I think he's kind of cringe too. Like I think he thinks he's funnier than he is. I think he thinks he's more clever than he is in things like outside of music. And his lyrics are not the strong suit of his writing. They've never been the strong suit of his music. But I think when he's playing into the part of his personality that is like horny, not that hot of a guy who feels wronged, when it's a little sort of like bitchy and petulant, it taps into a thing we don't see represented a lot, which is this kind of like wronged male persona. And I don't think it's like edgelordy, and I don't think it's like inherently problematic, but I think it's whiny. And I think there's a kind of interesting appeal in that in a scene where I think people are trying to either like out alpha each other or be like, I'm so sad. In a world where things are perfect and Charlie Puth is a really good lyricist, like to me, he's kind of Billy Joel-esque. He's like, and I love Billy Joel, but Billy Joel is a classic kind of like ugly, horny guy who's like, why am I striking out? I should be pulling. And it's like, brother, look at you. But he's really weaponized that into art in such a magnificent way. And I also think Voice Notes is a great album about being like, you know what's never, like, you know how nothing's my fault? You know how everything is everyone else's fault? And I think he really pulls off this like kind of horrible tone for an album by just sort of insisting on his own innocence over and over again. But he has a personality that's kind of always been impossible to like square with where culture is whenever he's making music.
I want to learn everything about this man now. But didn't he date Selena Gomez or something? Like didn't he date somebody famous and then he was like low key kind of like stalking them or something afterwards?
He was definitely not great to Selena Gomez. He was not great to Jade, my fave.
I forgot that. Yeah, okay.
I think he's like kind of not a good guy in a lot of ways.
Yes.
But that doesn't stop so many other guys. So it's sort of like, why did it stop him? Slash, is it the thing that's stopping him? Is what I wonder about.
I feel like a lot of what you just brought up about him being like whiny, nothing's ever my fault, like kind of thing. Like we talked about this like a little bit last when we recorded our Harry Styles thing, kind of just about like where men are at in pop. And I feel like a lot of what you just said with those character traits, you can graft on to Drake and like his pivot to like Drake has sort of always been that way, but like back in like Take Care era, you know, it was kind of like it was like a novelty where everybody was just like, "Oh, look, he's singing about his feelings and everything," and like, you know, like the whole thing, you know, Drake and Drive plays sad things at the strip club or whatever. Like we were all there, but somewhere along the way, like he has kind of really like given in to that character archetype and like morphed it into this toxic thing that's like kind of adjacent to the manosphere and everything. And I don't know the exact timeline of Charlie Puth. Like obviously like the manosphere was not architected as well as it is now, like a decade ago, but like it was starting to the seeds were planted in the ground, certainly. So I do find it interesting that like I feel like it's in conversation with Drake's character like in pop culture, and I think Drake is lame as hell now and have thought that for some time, and I'm sure that a lot of people hopped on that like post beef with Kendrick, but there certainly is like a large segment of people who still look at that and are like, yeah, he's literally me. Give me Ryan Gosling's Drive jacket and I'm good to go.
That kind of like brings me to like a big question of just like what like so yeah, there's that lane of you're saying like the grieved entitlement lane that like Drake and Puth are kind of populating. But then there's like the kind of like the blank slate. Like there's BTS, where it's like you don't really know, even though they have a reality show about them. Like it's kind of like their purpose is like you're supposed to like they're like a blank slate that you could project onto. And there's like Harry Styles, where he's like I think he's like he dig for like drama to like fuel his music, but he doesn't really do that. He just like kind of chooses to be an entertainer instead. And then there's like, I don't know, there's like Justin Bieber, who's kind of like this like child star. And then like there's like the tabloids of it all fuels it. And he's like this sympathetic person and like this tragic person at the same time. So it's like, what do we want out of a male pop star in general?
Is there any way for like a male pop star to not grow to become cringe? Like I think Timberlake, and now it's just like he gets increasingly more embarrassing. And it's like, what is the arc for a male pop star? That's so hard. Robbie Williams is, I guess, successful, but only after like these really cool. And I think the new Charlie album is kind of about like getting married and having a family. And it's like, well, I think people don't want that either. I think that's just sort of kind of boring. But that's like Taylor Swift was always like, oh, are people going to hate my music when I become happy? And I think people hated her most recent album for different reasons, maybe part of those. But I think making an album about being sort of nervous to become a dad is I don't know, narrow, thing to thread. And I don't think he does it very successfully.
Those are like good threads to like tug on, like what do we want from male pop stars? Because
what do we go to them for even? Like I don't know what we go to them for,
Well, we're just like that's like the thing is like I don't really know if we can pin down what we're going to them for, but I think we can argue pretty definitively that like we're not getting it. Whatever
Yeah, yeah.
whatever we want, we're not
Yeah.
getting it. And I think
Yeah.
like I would say Justin Bieber is so big now that he is almost excluded from the conversation because he's canonized, you know? Like he's like MJ, like the later MJ albums that like people kind of forget that are like they're like fine, you know, but they're not like the big booming things. And
Yeah.
like he
Yeah.
just so long had this momentum that carried him on. And Justin Bieber could never release another album, or like he could release another 50 yummies in a row and he would still be a
I like
legend.
Yummy.
I look.
Did you
me and my
partake in the Yummy
girlfriend,
challenge?
We sing yummy. We sing yummy
No.
all the
Okay.
time.
No, but I think that's a great song.
But like, we're clearly not getting it from male pop stars, and I don't know how much of it is like a them problem, like the people that we're boosting up, or how much of it is just like the general like gender divide from like are we asking are we asking too much of women? And like they happen to deliver time and time again. And I also think that if you look back like decades in the past, the 80s had so many male pop stars that like had no problem giving the people what they wanted, you know? Like think George Michael, like you could even argue that like Bruce Springsteen, like with his E Street band, you know, like Bruce was front and center, and he was sort of like if not like a pop star, like at least like a cultural force people could go along with. And I don't know if it's like the shift to this like narrativization of like pop stars' lives and really putting like the sordid details within their music, name dropping people, getting super specific with it. I don't know if like that paradigm shift is just something that we don't want from men and we're more okay with it from women. Like, I don't know. Like, something is happening.
I think like so when we're talking about Mitski, she was talking about like the way she wrote the album is like she wanted to like portray herself as pathetic and like really meet the audience on the level of like deep depression or like just like this really like desperation when you go through a breakup and like that doesn't make you look good. When men do it, it's like there's like a real it's like you don't want to see that. You don't want to see like a man kind of like throwing a tantrum over like this girl didn't want to have sex with me, all that stuff. You don't.
I disagree though. Like I think if you look back to like the peak of Kanye in the 2000s, like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was like the most that Kanye ever constructed his persona and like leaned into the idea that other people had of him. And we loved it. Like we loved that sort of thing. I think maybe like there's an element of cringe to like admitting like I don't know if it's just like men as a whole don't want to like construct these personas and perform as much. But I think that like there is an active appetite for that. And like there's just an unwillingness to give that from a lot of people. Could you ever picture Drake sitting down, like not to like name him again, but he's just like one of the biggest dudes like out there. Could you honestly picture him like sitting down and like I don't know, constructing a musical world that's anything other than like I'm the coolest guy?
I love
I
my
sort
mom
of think
too.
the content of this of the songs doesn't really matter as much. I sort of think it's like you were saying, like an unwillingness to step into the role of pop star. And like
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has been fulfilled by like BTS and like K-pop in general in terms of just being a pop star. Like a huge ongoing issue with Harry Styles is a continued refusal, I'd say, to be a pop star. That he really wants to be taken seriously in a rock way, but like rock fans don't want him. He doesn't appeal to them. And he's continues, I think, to kind of push away from like the world he came from to get these new fans that are not there. And so it's why I'm like looking at Somber and Benson Boone, even though they are maybe not totally living up to a potential that we want, but they do seem to be willing to be pop stars. They are doing theatricality, they are wearing their sequins or whatever. And I think Puth, to some degree, has stepped into that, but seems to kind of be aging out of it now. Seems to be very yacht rocky. But I think like, I was thinking about his tour. He's going to be at Madison Square Garden this month. I'm like, what is he doing when he's there? Is he like, how is he filling a stage? How is it feeling like a kind of full experience? And I feel that about a lot of these guys. And yeah, like I saw Charlie Puth at Blue Note in New York, which is like a jazz club, which I think is the perfect way to see him. Like he should be on stage with a bunch of 50 to 70-year-old jazz musicians who are making him feel kind of bad about his own abilities. To a room of 250 people, that's it. Like that's what you do. You know, you are a lounge singer and maybe you're amazing at it.
Yeah, that is reminding me, like, another dubious name to kind of bring up with this, but like, I've been getting a lot of Instagram reels in my feed of Machine Gun Kelly at like performing, because his like most recent thing, he was like trying to do like a emphasis on the pop punk, like bringing back like Blink 182 style stuff, but like making it also boy band. And he has like this one music video where there's just randomly like a dance break, and so there's clips of him performing with like these women background dancers. And I mean, I don't know, like I guess in a way that's everything that I am asking for, but I'm like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys who
You know?
can do it don't want to do it is like part of the challenge. So like, but we got to go back to voice notes. Let's talk about like this album and like kind of its themes.
I think it's a great like welcome to Hollywood type of album. For this like kind of classically East Coast New Jersey boy to sort of make a like a California album, but it's sort of about having a bad time in LA, like not attracting the right kind of women, feeling like you're being used. I think it's like quite down on like the industry in quotes. And yeah, it's a little bit of a like testing the waters of what it's like to be famous in the context of music.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you guys think
no,
it's about?
yeah, I think it's like
Voice notes or this album?
voice notes, right?
Voice notes.
I have not heard voice notes.
What?
Oh.
Wait, are we doing voice notes or whatever's clever?
We're doing voice notes.
Voice
We're
notes?
doing voice notes?
And we're back here to talk about
Well, to the listener, we never left.
yeah, to the listener,
We've
never
been here
left.
the whole time.
Are you gonna put this section before it's revealed that I didn't listen to
No,
the album?
I think it's funniest if it's just like we were supposed to cover voice notes and just like cut right to this. It'd be really funny.
Okay, I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But yeah, like it's like a month and a half later. When we recorded our initial episode. We'll still like weave in parts of the prior recording into this. Because I think we had some great things to say in there. But yeah, like we're all on the same page. Now we both listened to voice notes and whatever is clever. So based on that, like what are your guys's general takeaway listening to both of them together? Like what do you think this album's about? Like how do you feel about it? All that?
Dakota, I think you got to go first.
Okay, honestly, I have had what you said last time, Fran, just rolling around in my head the entire time listening to voice notes. When you said that Charlie Puth is such like a little brat. And I'm fascinated by this album, and I can totally see why you came to us wanting to talk about this. Charlie Puth is a fascinating figure.
You guys really like cracked something open for me when you said he's kind of like Drake in a way in a way that's both like good and bad, has been kind of like disastrous for me psychologically, but
Yeah.
really eye-opening musically.
He like to me like listening to voice notes and whatever's clever, less so on whatever's clever. I really was underestimating the amount of like bratty Drakeness um
Mm.
that at least was happening earlier on in his career, especially with all of this just being like highlighted by that damn album cover that is voice notes. He is truly, he's just like everything negative like that people make fun of Drake, like just laid bare. And
Mm.
that album cover is just so perfect. Like dude thinks he's living in a cologne ad or something.
Definitely,
um
yeah.
but like musically speaking, I'm so all over the place with this album. I don't think that this is nearly as good as Whatever's Clever. I think Whatever's Clever is just
Mm.
a good album without qualification. Um, and for me, Voice Notes is really just running the gamut of like highlights, pretty high highlights, and some pretty low lowlights, and then a lot of songs that I really couldn't tell you much about if you held a gun to my head. It's still just a fascinating look at like a then young artist who like has only revealed himself to just continuously be like a polarizing weird fixture in pop culture. And I think that this is just like a fascinating statement of an album. What that statement is, I'm still working out in my head, and I don't know if I'll ever untangle that.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Dakota, like, what do you mean by like kind of like all the drakiness like laid bare? Like, what do you like? I want to like hear your perspective on that.
He's whiny. He complains a lot. Like he doesn't take accountability for any of his relationship issues. And he constantly is trying to like flaunt himself as this Casanova type. And again, this is all with that damn album cover being there. It's just so unconvincing to me, but I appreciate that I appreciate that he thinks that highly of himself. Like the song, to give you an idea of like what I'm thinking, like one of my highest highlights on this album also just lays bare just how ridiculous his character is. And that's the song Boy. That
Yeah,
song,
yeah.
I can't believe that he wrote that song and put it out. And like nobody pulled him aside and was like, I don't know if this is it, Chief.
Oh, I
Like
love that song. That song's
oh,
amazing.
I adore it. It's such a fun song, but just the fact that he would put his name attached to that song is crazy. That you won't lay you won't wake up beside me because I'm born in the 90s. That's an insane chorus. That's not like a throwaway line. That's what he's anchoring the song to. Honestly, reminds me of the time that it was made, like the summer of 2018, we were only a couple of years into the first Trump admin, and I don't mean that we had it good then.
I mean, I just think like in the last couple of years, obviously because of Charlie XCX, Brat being bratty became something kind of like sexy and like petulant. When it's like there's a lot of like real unpleasantness. Voice Notes is like unafraid to be unpleasant.
And there's a difference between like a girl brat and a boy brat. Like just kind of like the empowering to be
Mm-mm.
unlikable as a woman sometimes.
Yes.
It's there's power in that. And then like a man on top, like a cis white man, just like I'm unlikable and terrible is like not as like compelling to me. Um,
No, it's
It is kind of refreshing though, like how that's just what this album is. I'm annoying. Deal with it.
to like segue into the next album though, like I can't not think of like the baby crying sketch from I Think You Should Leave, where it's like I used to be a piece of shit. I used to be like slick back hair, white bathing suit, sloppy steaks, white couch, you would have not liked me back then. So like this, like whatever's clever is like, okay, I'm going to be a dad. Our friend and colleague, Professor Sky, he had a video about like when you become a dad, something like fundamental in your brain changes, where like suddenly you're the dad character in someone's life. Before you were not that, and now you're the dad character. And then you have to like kind of reassess and then go like change a lot of things about your life. And then like it's also just like a time where you could be like a little like reflective of just like these are lessons I learned. And like, oh my gosh, the way I was acting back then was so cringe. I put that I just looking at this voice notes cover art, like this is how I used to be. So I think like it's a lot about just like kind of imparting his wisdom through his lived experience onto his future kid, and then also his brother and us, the audience. And then it's also like, like it's just like kind of about living with regrets, but then also like choosing to live another day, like learning how to live with it, learning how to move forward. I think that's a big theme of that record.
Yeah, I think it's funny. My friend Tessa has a whole thing about like when your friends start to have kids, it forces you, the friend who does not have kids, to decide if you want to be taking sides with the kid or with the parent, because I think it is in all of our nature with our peers to be like, we're all the kids, we're all on each other's side. And you sort of watch your friends have to become kind of an authority figure with whom you're sort of inclined to maybe not agree with, but not for any good reason other than this thing of being like, well, I'm on the side of the kid. I mean, I think people are like this with pets too, where it's like a reluctance to become or submit to a place of authority. Something about his persona that I think is interesting with this new album that's a little bit like his I'm Growing Up Now album is that his wife had a baby in March, I want to say, early April, and he's currently on tour, not with his wife or baby. Which I just think is interesting.
Meghan Trainor, the people can do that.
Of course, they can do it if they want. I'm always reminded of someone I know who just never took their parental leave. They were like, I'm okay. It's like, what? Take your leave. Don't go on tour immediately. But, they're making it work, I'm sure. But I think it's funny to be like, I'm scared of being responsible. And then your baby is born. And you're like, and I'm going on tour.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. That is funny in the context of him naming the album Whatever's Clever with an exclamation mark.
Yeah. The question I had for you guys listening to both these albums is like, for which album do you think he felt like he had more to prove?
Certainly voice notes. Just like kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would agree. I think that voice notes feels like him trying to be like a main pop boy. And Whatever's Clever to me feels like him accepting like a lower ceiling, but really I definitely think that there's a bit in Whatever's Clever of him trying to prove that he's like an adult, that he's no longer a boy. And that, he's like a dad. I think that there's like a lot of themes of like growing up on that. But to me, it seems like he's accepted that he's like not going to be Harry Styles.
Mm.
But also I think like he's kind of like reached maybe not Harry Styles, but certainly a really high ceiling. Like he's saying at the Super Bowl, he's like doing all these big shows and everything, and like Taylor shouted him out and he's like kind of running with that. Like I think he's doing quite well for himself. And I think like there is a level of like I talked about this in like our Katy Perry episode of just like there being like 4 quadrants of cringe, of like there's like the cringe of trying and like seeing the flop sweat, the cringe of being inauthentic, the cringe of lacking self-awareness, and then the cringe of being yourself. So like the 4th one is the one you kind of want to be, and like you want to be okay with trying and you want to be okay with being yourself. And like I feel like voice notes is like being inauthentic and lacking self-awareness. And then this album is I am like I am wearing all my influences on my sleeve. I'm being an artiste. I'm like being um and just like kind of settling into a in a more authentic cringe version of himself that's way more palatable than Voice Notes Charlie. I think best case scenario for Voice Notes Charlie is to become whatever's clever Charlie. I think that's the best case scenario. You could be Drake, but then you could also be whatever's clever Charlie.
Yeah. I think whatever's clever to me feels more like he has something to prove or that something's at risk. And some of it I wonder is just like him trying to transition into being like an adult pop star or like an adult contemporary artist, for lack of a better turn of phrase. But it does feel like I don't know that he is trying to cast almost a wider net just thematically with something like whatever's clever. I think a previous Charlie Puth would maybe have not cared if someone thinks like boy is immature, and he seems very self-conscious of that now. In a way that I think makes that album often quite interesting.
Which one?
Whatever's clever.
I can definitely see what you're saying through that lens. Like I think just because I'm coming at it from whatever's clever first and then going back to voice notes, like that's definitely coloring my experience and outlook for Charlie more than I think if you followed his career linearly and what we originally agreed to. Um, so I definitely think that that makes sense. Like, because I mean, whatever's clever is definitely more thematically and musically cohesive. You know, like it feels like he's really pushing one direction, whereas voice notes, like,
Shout out to Harry Styles.
yeah.
Shout out Harry Styles.
Whereas voice notes, like he's doing a lot of different things and not really committing as strongly to any specific angle.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah. I think there's also just like the wider musical net of whatever's clever. That's sort of like, will you guys like this? What about this? Um, that sparks some kind of like insecurity that feels different from insecurity that he's previously um expressed. He's very insecure in general, but I guess this is also true of
Totally.
our friend Drake.
Yeah.
But I prefer that to voice notes like insecurity because a big theme of like voice notes to me is about like feeling powerless and like just like that's just the way I am and just like attention's about this like girl's like jerking he feels like she's jerking him around and like I feel powerless not sleeping with this 23-year-old and I feel powerless next to this like older woman I'm sleeping with and stuff and like I'm powerless to like stop this breakup from happening, like I'm powerless to like not cheat on someone, like he feels very power like and like boy like you said like lays it all bare, like I am a boy, I'm a child, like like I they gave me a driver's license and they let me like run around and stuff, but like I think this album is like I prefer I think it's refreshing to see like someone grow, like someone like a pop star grow up and a pop star like get wiser and a pop star like settle down with like, but like I think like the insecurity doesn't go away necessarily. I think you just kind of like learn to manage it in as a older person.
Yeah, I think that's really well put. Yeah. I think I was wondering sort of if in this sort of time travel that we did, if I was going to be listening to whatever's clever more. And the truth is I'm still just listening to voice notes. So maybe it's about this album, for me at least, being a kind of tether to a behavior that I never really indulged in the first place, but would love to imagine a past version of me would have been indulging in. Do you guys ever watch, this will seem like a non sequitur, but do you guys ever watch like British like panel shows or like Taskmaster or anything like that?
Not really, no.
Once in a blue moon, like I see like I see the clips on Reddit sometimes, and like if it's with people that interest me, sometimes I'll watch it.
All those shows have been going on so long now that when they have new people on, new people are frequently like super fans of the show that they're doing. And you would think maybe subconsciously, and perhaps it's like this with like Survivor and American reality too, that being a super fan or being a student of this thing suddenly makes you extremely good at it. And often those people are like kind of the worst people ever. They do horrible at it because they're overthinking it too much. And I have to wonder, like, I think that Charlie Puth is an amazing student of music who kind of can't apply the things that he seems to know. That he's like overthinking production such that then the lyrics suffer or something akin to that.
That is
Yeah, I agree.
that's so funny that you say that. Because I do agree to your larger point, but with the reality show thing, I actually had a college roommate who was obsessed with Big Brother. Like he would take over our living room. I lived in a house with 6 other men, and he would take over our living room to put on Big Brother every week. And he was like, I just like the strategy of it all. And he would like take notes on like how people are performing. Super fan. He actually eventually goes on the show on one of the seasons, and he was, I think, the first person eliminated. And then they brought him back later in the season when they do like I don't really watch Big Brother, but they do like, bring back some of the contestants in the house. Instantly eliminated again. But he's made like a somewhat of like a decent living going around to these conventions, being like, I'm the fan favorite guy, so
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well, this
you're
is
right.
what happened
Like,
with the Pod Save America guy on Survivor. He was like crazy Survivor super fan out first. They said, get out of here. Uh, but in like the panel ones, I'm just like, those people don't get it. They don't do elimination. So people have to stay on the whole time. And you think maybe they're learning from the experience of being on, but they're just so overwhelmed with the knowledge that they have come into this with that you have to kind of just be separate from all of it. And so I wonder if that's what's happening with Puth, or if Puth thinks he's slaying. I don't know.
That's fascinating. Yeah, let's go through some let's talk about voice notes. Let's talk about highlights of voice notes. Fran, what's a highlight from voice notes that you want to shout out?
Empty Cups. That is such a
Ooh.
great song, I think. Swooping in at the 11th hour.
the bass line is lethal.
Yeah. It's really cool. I think it's a fun framing for like a house party song, and it gets kind of its like annoying response track almost on Whatever's Clever. And I think it's about that sort of like cursed time at the party when you've kind of stayed too late by accident, and it's like, is the vibe gonna turn sour, or are you gonna really like make something of it? And as someone who goes home early, I've never had to experience this or think about it. So it's fun to live vicariously through the music, the imaginative music of Charlie Puth.
That's so fascinating.
Wow, he stays at the party so long, not me.
The thing is that the album cover for Voice Notes could be him passed out in the corner, like on the couch. The back to back of Boy into Slow It Down like kills me every time. Just cause like it's like two sides of the same coin of like the sentiment, like of just going from like, I was born in the 90s, so you won't give me a chance, to like, oh, I'm trying to get this other girl off my back, but she's so quick with taking off her clothes. I just can't stop her. Like, I'm sure, Charlie, that you're just, you got to shake them off with a stick.
Yeah. It also feels to me, in a way that I love, a song about like moving to LA. Or like that whole album is really about like living in LA and maybe kind of hating it, but being like, I'm sort of addicted to hating it.
LA hallucinations. Like, shout out to
Yeah.
Carly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this album is a lot like like you were saying, like a very male emotion, but in the LA hallucinations like kind of territory, like kind of
Yes.
emotional, like patina and such. Let's see. Yeah, any lowlights of this album? Like what's
Well,
like yeah.
one more highlight. I think the album starts really strong with The Way I Am. I think that's like a really fun, bouncy song, and the guitar tone on that reminds me of the song that they always play in The Bear when things are getting stressful in the kitchen. You know, like, do you guys know what I'm talking about? It has the same
No
tone.
Oh.
idea.
Have you guys seen The Bear? You guys have seen The
See
Bear,
the
right?
bear, yeah.
I've seen the first season of The Bear when that came out.
Okay. Well, next time you watch The Bear and a stressful scene's going on, you're gonna think of Puth.
I would love to be thinking of Puth during The Bear.
I really love the bass line and like the breakdown in LA Girls. I really love um the Somebody Told Me. I really love the Beach Boys and James Taylor like kind of like meshed together song of it all. Just like the production on If You Leave Me Now, just like he's also just like great. I think this album is just like kind of stunting his taste of just like look who I got. Look what I like look what's on my record shelf. And look at what my look at who I booked. But yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his production is sometimes kind of a creative crutch. Like it lets him get away with some other stuff, but then like a lot of other production is really just so bad. It's really quite a good crutch to have, is that your stuff just sounds cool and good.
Yeah, there's definitely worse gimmicks to fall back on. Like, I don't know. Would I rather listen to like a blind Charlie Puth production or like a blind like modern Jack Antonoff production? You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
Charlie Puth. I'll take the Puth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep trying to listen to that new Bleachers and it's not really giving me much.
No, he needs to stop singing about Jersey.
I just think If You Leave Me Now is so corny. But I mean the whole album is corny, but maybe that's where it like crosses a line into like too corny for me.
I think I would echo like a similar sentiment. Like it's kind of I don't know if I would say any specific song is a low light. It's kind of just like what mood is this album catching me with? You know, how charitable am I on like the same wavelength as voice
Hmm.
notes, you know? And maybe that's more of a me problem than a voice notes problem. But yeah, I feel like half the time I've heard If You Leave Me Now, I'm like, that's unexpected and kind of cool. And the other half, I'm just like, get this out of my face.
Yeah. I think it's not helped also that it's like I think not especially well just like couched in the album. There's sort of no place for it in that list of songs. And then it winds up falling into like kind of a really awkward zone, I feel.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with, you know, obviously one of all of our favorites is Boyd, like immediately afterwards, like that kind of jolts me awake. And I think 4 minutes is just too long for the kind of gimmick of the song. It's like cool and interesting that he booked Boys to Men on there, but I don't think that it's interesting enough to last that long.
Yeah, like I said, just like the toxicity of some of the songs, like it's just like I think it's like cool to observe from a distance of just like, man, that's like it's such a spectacle to watch this guy like so unaware, like so like all these things. Like I like Attention, for example, like Dakota, you said on our Olivia Rodrigo episode of like referencing songs like My Way or like Better Than Revenge or like Misery Business, of just like women can be a little toxic as a treat. But like for a man, like I feel like you gotta learn to filter out the toxicity and like before putting something out there, because like men who feel like insecure and powerless like can cause an incredible amount of harm, like if it's unchecked and stuff. And I just like I but at the same time I'm sympathetic because Charlie said it in an interview that if I was an architect, I would just build a house and no one would know it's about this girl. Like no one know that I put all this pain into like building this house. But because my trade is songwriting and my trade is like mining honesty from my perspective, then I don't like that's kind of what I have to do. So like I am sympathetic to it, but it's still like kind of gross and leaves a bad taste sometimes.
Definitely. I'm not saying I think he's like a good guy, but I sort of, in the Drake sense, like I want my male pop stars to be a little yucky, you know?
Yucky is the perfect word to go with that. I think that the yucky angle to it is definitely more interesting. A song like Attention to Me, I think is so like slick and glossy that I like the lyrics kind of wash over me on that. It's admittedly got like a really nice groove, but I kind of just feel like I'm uh stalking the aisles of like an express or something when listening to it. It's
Mm,
just
yeah.
it's like a blinding sheen on that one. But like I do kind of think that the album is strongest when I can kind of get a front row seat to the toxicity of it, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
again, I hate to bring up the album cover again, but I don't like show me that, Charlie, you know? Like I want to know every thought going through that man's head.
Yeah.
The only Charlie Yucky I like is from Crash, where she has that song Yuck.
That's a great song. That's an amazing song. Justice for Crash.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I'll say that. I'll back that up.
yeah. And Justice for Crash, the 2006 movie, Best Picture. So yeah,
Oh.
like let's go. Sandra Bullock fell down the stairs and not became not racist. So let's
That's
go
all
through.
I know about that movie.
Many such cases.
If only so like let's go through highlights of whatever's clever.
Honestly, like there are so many good songs on
You're
this
loving
album.
this album. You're like a true blue Puther because of this.
Truly, like I have seen the truth, and the truth is Puth.
Yeah.
Um,
This is what happens.
yeah, this is how it starts. I really like Changes, the opening
I
track.
think
Yeah.
that's a great song. Yeah.
Like that song's great. Washed Up is fantastic. I think Hey Brother is really sweet towards his own
Yeah.
brother. Like I really like Home, and you know, I think Kenny, like Love and Exile with Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins is like worth that insane billing. The only song on here that truly makes me like recoil is obviously the Jeff Goldblum song. That
It's
song
horrible.
sucks.
It's so bad. And I think is
such-
reflective of the kind of millennial out of touchness that he has, where he's like, that's cool, right? And it's like, no.
Yes. Yeah, like I think that you're spot on with that. Like I can totally see the gears turning in his head of like, you know, this is how I get some cultural cachet. Everybody loves Jeff Goldblum. Like, let's just have this. But I don't know. It's so confusing for that to come like as the penultimate track on here. Even I used to be cringe. Like I was prepared to not like that song from the name of it, but like I thought that it was kind of like a nice self-reflection for him to kind of end things on. But yeah, Until It Happens to You, Garbo, two thumbs way down. Um, get Jeff Goldblum out of here.
Is Until It
Yeah.
Happens to You about like people making fun of the fact that he turned into a fly until someone turns into a fly and like they develop
Yes.
empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a rare look back at the Cronenberg film. People are always comparing Charlie Puth to The Fly.
Sounds good. I can't wait to listen to this album.
Two
Yeah,
tragic
no.
figures.
Yes, equally tragic figures.
I personally really love the one like I love Beat Yourself Up and I love I Used to Be Cringe. I just love the self-reflection of that of like I Beat Yourself Up is a male empowerment album parenthetical complimentary. Just like it's like It's good. It's like because it's true. I think it's just a lesson that like please don't beat yourself up, oh, whatever you do, because it doesn't do nothing but just break you in two. It's just like being mean to yourself doesn't actually make you better. It just makes you feel more broken and perpetuate harmful cycles. And like I think he also says like the line about just like you know, choosing to live and choosing to like, all these things. And I feel like people who beat themselves up and place unrealistic high standards on of themselves are just like really tortured and need that reminder. I just like I really love the pep in your step quality to the jubilance and the pep in your step that I get listening to the song. Like I need it. I need a song like this. So yeah.
I think it's a great song.
My favorite song on the whole project, and this like unironically is probably my song of the summer, but Love and Exile. I have
Mm.
listened to that song 100 times since we have last spoken. And it's just got such a good energy and momentum to it. And then for that to just come crashing down to earth with Jeff Goldblum, you know, until it happens to you. Like,
It's really
what are we
crazy.
doing?
You're riding so high, and then it's just, ugh.
He doesn't like add anything to like I kind of like don't know what the song is about because I'm just so fixated on this awful intro and outro. It feels like he got a cameo from Jeff Goldblum, and it's just like, okay, hey, could you say happy birthday to my friend Charlie? He's your biggest fan, and oh, make sure to incorporate the phrase until it happens to you because it's a funny inside joke that we both have.
It's truly terrible. It feels like it should be in a Minions movie.
Wow. It's very the Jeff Goldblum part is very like I record this in my car energy,
It literally does sound exactly like that. Speaking of bleachers, I love New Jersey.
That song is great. I
I
want
think
Charlie
it's
to
really
sing about
funny.
New Jersey more.
I think it's really funny. And since we last spoke, I've gotten really into Home,
Yeah, that's a great one.
which is, I think, not quite achieving city pop, but getting just close enough that I'm laughing and smiling, remembering better city pop.
Yeah. I want to shout out to like I said this at the beginning, like I used to be cringe. Um yeah, I think this album's just a lot about like kind of forgiving yourself and like kind of like radical acceptance. Like I was like diagnosed with like autism 1, ADHD and stuff, and like the like one of the skills you have to learn is like radical acceptance and like kind of like repeating the mantra of like there's no use trying to change the past. And like when I felt like in my early 20s when I felt like powerless and insecure, like I hurt people I cared about. And I think the song is kind of like really confronting that of just like, I burnt these bridges. I hope you could forgive me, but I also don't expect reconciliation necessarily. And then just like being kind to himself, just like, I tried so hard, I was like just being inauthentic. And I think it's so, so beautiful. It's such a beautiful antidote to a lot of the attitude on voice notes. Like if he just had that self-acceptance and that like self-compassion for himself, I think a lot of the issues on voice notes wouldn't be there. But like we also wouldn't get voice notes. So
Yeah. I
maybe
think it's proof that you need a wife to fix you. I think he could never have done it alone.
yeah.
Yeah. It is kind of funny to like, just point out like the last song on this album is all about like accepting that just Charlie put out a previous album. Like, yeah, man, it's good that you're just radically accepting yourself for this entire body of work.
I guess I'll end the discussion by saying, let's see. Let him hold the baby. People can change. I used to be cringe. Spiked up blonde hair, little bitty jeans, chicken spaghetti at Chickalani. People can change. Let the boy hold the baby. So, yeah, like let's go through our final thoughts and ratings. The way this works is we'll rate these albums out of 10 with a fun metric at the end. Who would like to go first?
I can. I'll give voice notes. It's a tricky one. I'm just so all over the place with it. I'm probably just gonna take the cowardly way out and be right in the middle and give it a 5. Um,
Mm.
Like there's some songs that I really like, some songs that I don't, and there's still some that I would have to like listen to it and be within like a 10-second range to tell you back like what I just heard. And like it's not because like any of them are terrible. But I no, I mean I appreciate that this album's taken a lot of big swings. Love the album cover art and love him being kind of a yucky mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it you know, five older women I dated. Like I think yeah, this one is like I said, like Dakota said, it kind of leaves my memory a little bit. Like I'm pretty impressed with it while I'm listening to it, and I'm like, um, I appreciate the big swings. But this one doesn't. I personally don't wish to be Charlie Puth in this era of like my life. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for this one.
I can't remember what I rated everything last time. I think for me, voice notes is like a 7 out of 10 empty cups, and whatever's clever is like a five. But it's like a five with like a heart or whatever.
Like the vet, like a 5 star, 3 star movie, like one of those.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Where it's like I'm really proud of you no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, my rating's reversed though. It's just like I think this is a 7. Whatever's clever is a 7. Like it's just like it's meeting me at my station of life. Like I'm happy for his growth. Like just like growing up in front of everybody like this, like and like uh coming out the other end with some like wisdom and like some good lessons and respect as a musician, I think is a best case scenario. So yeah, I'll give it yeah, 7 heroes that you shouldn't meet out of 10.
Yeah, I think same here. I think that I would give whatever's clever 7 Jeff Goldblum interludes out of 10. Um, but not actually because that's the worst part of the album. But I think it's like a strong 7. Like I think like as a product, it's like a 7. But I find myself returning to the album way more than I ever thought was possible. Like I think that just songs like Washed Up in New Jersey and Love and Exile are just like ridiculously fun and are inextricably tied to summer 2026 for the rest of my life.
Mm.
Oh yeah. 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 And like I guess like to kind of like complete the arc of the beginning of the episode, um yeah, like I'm going to okay, so Charlie Puth, where is he on the
Where's he
white
gonna
male?
go?
Yeah, on the white male pop star tier list.
I'm thinking A
This is very
tier.
difficult.
Okay, but where? Above Posty?
Definitely.
Above Sam?
Maybe not.
What do you think, Dakota?
I, f- I feel like him being, I on either side of Sam Smith, as long as he's next to Sam Smith, that feels right.
I'll put it above. All right,
Well, I
yeah.
think Sam Smith kind of also this really like accomplished technical artist who has really not found their footing maybe in lyricism or something like that. I think they're really similar, kind of.
Yeah.
I would agree with that actually. Sam Smith has some of the most insane vocals that you'll ever hear, but it's not often that the songs themselves are all that great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I'm fine with that as long as like Adam Devine is up top. So yeah, like that was our
Clearly, he's the best of us.
yeah, like that. Well, that's the end of our episode. Like, and then Fran, like, just anything you'd like to plug, anything that's out there for you, like, that we want to like just tack on the end of the episode. That's
I
more
wrote a whole
fresh.
ass book. I wrote a whole ass book
Whoa.
that's out now called The Field Guide to Nepo Babies, which you can get online or in some stores. And otherwise, I'm just writing for vulture.com, writing for franmagazine.com, same old, same old.
And you're writing another book, right? Like,
I am. I'm writing another book. I'm
oh,
writing
so
a
exciting.
romance novella,
Ooh.
an age gap romance. So hashtag boy. Um,
Which way's the
yeah,
age gap?
The Puth way.
Okay,
Ooh.
the Puth way.
The Puther's way, as they say.
Puthers are
Set
gonna show
in
out for you.
set in Chicago. So
Cool.
trying to really hit all my bases that I love. But yeah, I'm like deep in edits for that right now, which is for me personally the worst part of
Oh,
writing, but I am excited and scared for people to read it. So,
yeah, that's
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
What's the
yeah.
book? Yeah, what's the book called? Like for people who haven't like seen
It's
it.
called Fine Tuning.
Ooh. Also, check out Fran's. This is more of an obscure piece that you wrote. Like, check out your. You wrote like a short story about like a comedian like following along like a Louis C.K. type, like on tour and stuff like that, and just like the moral quandary and of that, and like it's really really fantastic. I remember reading
Yeah, I
that.
wrote a short story. It's in Burrow Press called The Opener. And yeah, it's about making decisions as an artist about who is in charge of your income stream.
Well, thank you guys, the audience, for being in charge of my income stream for the $30 a month I make.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can follow me at Andrew Ambrose Lee, Dakota down underscore with fun, Stanley is Snap a Stan, John Butts is here, and follow our Patreon. I've been meaning to watch that. And Fran, any final sentiments that you want to like throw out there?
Um, Shout out the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Except for Jack Antonoff.
yeah.
I have to petition.
Even him, but he needs to give
Even
it a
him.
rest. He needs to give it a rest.
Oh man. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good day. Click.